What's up, YouTube? For today's video, with a full fish Pokemon team. 9 years ago, I did a team, and I think it's about time we redid this as well. So there are a lot of fish Pokemon that have been introduced into the games in almost a decade. So I thought I'd get 6 Pokemon that are in Scarlet and Violet and put them onto one team. I actually quite like fishing. It's a really fun hobby to do, but I don't really get a lot of time to do it. Does anyone, like fishing as a hobby? Caught a big fish before? Tell me your fishing stories and tell me your favorite fish Pokemon in the comments. You know what mine is. It is the Magikarp. So we got a random battle here to start things off with, and we got an Urshifu lead. Now, I was actually pretty happy that I got an Urshifu to swap due to a Magikarp. So, only on PIMPNITE channel, everyone. So we got this Magikarp. It's got a very, very interesting moveset. I thought a lot about it. So we got that Focus Sash and Flail set. That's really all you can do with Magikarp nowadays, since they got rid of Hydro Pump and Bounce, and we got the Flail. So Flail did some pretty good damage there. I just like how they had to swap into Miraidon just to feint a Magikarp. Alright, so they're going to go for a Volt Switch there. That is the end of my Carp. There's not much you can do there, right? I was just happy to get some form of damage. Alright, next Pokemon we got is going to be a Gengar. It's totally not a Hackmon from the surprise trade. And we're going to go into Chi-Yu. This is probably my favorite set on this team. It's a true PIMPNITE special. So this is primarily a special attacker, but I turned it into a physical attacker. So it does learn Swagger, and I've got Mirror Herb on there. So funnily enough, Chi-Yu actually gets Flare Blitz, which I thought was pretty cool. And it gets some other reasonable physical moves too, like Crunch. So I was like, oh, I can make a physical Chi-Yu, right? So we've got Flare Blitz, Crunch, Terra Blast, Grass, and we've also got Swagger too. So max attack and max speed. So Crunch is going to easily be enough to take out that Gengar, and no Cursed Body and stuff like that, and that's the end of Gengar. So pretty good start to the battle there. Pretty good start. I do say so myself. It's going very swimmingly. Now, out comes Landorus. Now, this was a unrestrictions battle too. So the Pokemon were like all level 100 or whatever the levels were. So they brought in a Landorus. It's going to get cooked there by a Flare Blitz. It was a little bit low, but I think it would have done a lot of damage there. +2 Flare Blitz is it's actually pretty no joke. So in comes a Urshifu again. Now, I can't do a lot but Terra Blast Grass. So I'm going to go for a Terra Blast Grass here and hopefully take out the Urshifu. So if it does go for, a water-type move, I was thinking, Surging Strike or Aqua Jet or something like that to feint me, I can resist that and then hit them hard. So here comes the obvious Aqua Jet there. I'm going to leave that one easy peasy. And Terra Blast Grass is going to be able to hit pretty hard there. I like how the fish gets a little flower on top. So that is the end of the Urshifu. Things are going very swimmingly here. Now, I did put some music in the background there of all different fishing games. So if you've recognized any of them, let me know. I'd be surprised because some of these they're pretty old games. You have to be, you have to have played a lot of fishing games to see them. So in comes Lunala, and out goes Lunala. Got absolutely dominated. Next Pokemon, of course, is going to be Miraidon. This is definitely the the problem Pokemon here, as it always is. I've got Crunch, but I know that I'm probably most definitely going to get outsped here. I've got Jolly Nature on this too, so I can go as fast as possible, but they've got a Stellar Miraidon, which is interesting. It's going to have Terra Blast. It's like, oh, that's going to be super effective against me. So that is going to be the end of the fish. If you enjoy the videos, people, and you want to support the channel, hit that like button. Tell me what your favorite fishy Pokemon is. I'd like to know. It doesn't even have to be in Scarlet or Violet. Could be anywhere, right? Alright, so they're going to get an attack and special attack drop after using Terra Blast with Stellar. We're going to go into Bass, which is Feebas. I named all the fish too. So we're going to PIMPNITE special here. We got that Rain Dance, Surf, Mirror Coat, Focus Sash set. Obviously, they're going to go Timmy Terra with the Electro Drift, but I've got them all lined up there with a Mirror Coat, which is easily going to be able to take out the Miraidon. Some beautiful disrespect there, taking out a Miraidon with a Feebas, only on PIMPNITE channel. So that is going to be the end of Miraidon. This is going absolutely excellent. The other move I've got there is Hypnosis too, and Swift Swimmer's the ability. Last Pokemon is going to be a hacked Ursaring. I mean, a Ursaluna. Like, I guess I could go for Surf here, or I could go for Rain Dance. I thought, let's go for Rain Dance. I'm going to set up another Pokemon on my team. So I know that Surf won't faint it. Plus, I figured they may even go, like, Protect and get their Flame Orb up. So they went for a headlong rush on Feebas. They got to make sure they faint that, you know, just like that Magikarp. They got to make sure they faint it, you know. And that's half my team, but they're gone. But it's fine. We got a special Barraskewda here. It's a PIMPNITE special. We got that Scope Lens and Focus Energy, Hydro Pump, Blizzard, and Terra Blast Ground. We're going to go for a big pump, and Ursaluna is going to go for a big dump because that switch got snapped in half, and that was a salty, salty rage quit there. They got played like a fiddle the entire time. So let's get a like for that salty rage quit there, and let's get on to the next battle. I cast the bait out, guys. I got that perfect catch. Got that perfect catch for you. All right, another random battle here. We got an Ursaluna lead. So this was a normal rules battle. So this is actually a pretty funny start here. So the Lunala out of nowhere is going to go for Hypnosis against my Feebas, which is interesting. And I'm going to be sleeping this turn. So I thought, well, I don't really want to swap any other Pokemon out. Let's go for Hypnosis. So I woke up, turn one, wake up, and I landed on my Hypnosis. That was really, really funny. I got to, put their Pokemon to sleep too and wake up so quickly. Got that early bird Feebas, you know. So Lunala is going to be having a nap here about, he's got to count all the Feebas. Now, second, look, I'd love to get a Mirror Coat KO, but I don't know whether they're going to attack this turn. What are they going to do, right? So I'll leave that Feebas maybe for a little bit later on in the battle. So we're going to bring in Basculegion, of course, as Salmon. I've gone salmon fishing before. They all jump out the water. It's absolutely insane. We've got this Agility set here. So this is a fully flinching set. And we've got Adaptability as the ability. So they're going to wake up and go for Moonguy's Beam. And that's not going to be very good for Basculegion because it's just going to live, only just. Now, we've got Waterfall, Headbutt, and Bite. So all flinching moves there. I was actually trying to cheese a flinch there, and I got one, which is excellent. So I went for another bite, and 2 bites was enough to take out the... Man, these Lunalars are getting absolutely dominated today. So that's 2 of them down there to a PIMPNITE special. Next Pokemon we got is Leafon. So Leafon... I was thinking, well, that's at least an interesting Pokemon to have, but maybe I can flinch it. So I went for Bite, and then I went for Headbutt, and I got a double flinch. I was like, man, this is actually going swimmingly. So they went for a helping hand there, because, they need some help after all those flinches. Little homie, I think little homie threw in the towel there after getting flinched like 200 times. They finally got a sunny day off there after all that. And I was like, do they have chlorophyll? But I don't think it's going to work because I'm still faster, right? And yeah, Leafon's down there. When you go into the woods and you got to take a dump, you got to make sure you put a leaf on top, right? That's got to be a 10 out of 10 joke. Next Pokemon we got is going to be... we got Spiky Shield there. That's actually very, very bad. But... this actually had protective pads as the item, so I didn't take any damage from Ogerpon at all, which was pretty funny there. They probably wondered why that didn't happen. So I'm going to go for a Headbutt there, and that is going to hopefully be the flinch, but it wasn't. It wasn't a flinch, and they're going to take me out with the Ivy Cud Girl. Crit obviously mattered, heaps and heaps there. So that's the end of the Salmon. Now I thought... what can I swap in here? I've got a couple of other Pokemon. I was like, should I go into the Goldfish here? Or should I just go into Carp, get that incredible flail damage, So swapping into Carp here. I still seriously don't know why they got rid of Hydro Pump and Bounce on this Pokemon for it. That doesn't even make any sense at all. So the Magikarp was Max Attack, Adamant Nature, and Max Speed. Swift Swim was actually pretty handy with my... my Feebas, right? So I tried to work them together, right? So Ivy Cud Girl is going to take out my Carp. Not much I could do there. I mean, I got some, reasonable damage off there with Flail. That's kind of the best I could do with these Pokemon. They weren't exactly super strong. So we're going to bring in the Goldfish now. I was like, should I just Flare Blitz this, or should I go for like Swagger and maybe try and get my strategy to work? So Ogerpon is actually going to be swapping out there, which wasn't too much of a surprise. And we've got the Turtle's going to come in here. And yes, I have done a Turtle team before. If you've got any animal teams you'd like to see me do, or haven't, maybe I haven't done one for a long time, many generations, leave it below there. Or you've got a new idea I've never done, put it below. I'd love to see the recommendations there. I enjoy these animal-like teams. All right, so I'm going to be swapping out here. I'm guessing they're going to use maybe Terra Starstorm or Earth's Power or something like that. So I went to my Barraskewda. So they went for Stone Edge instead. I didn't expect Stone Edge. So Stone Edge didn't do a lot of damage to me. I thought, well, I guess I could go for Focus Energy here, or maybe I should just get some damage. I decided just to go for damage, and Hydro Pump does really well, but doesn't take it out. Now they're going to go for a Rock Polish. I'm like, oh, it's a physical set, right? Now, this is a pretty fast Pokemon. After a Rock Polish, I wasn't able to actually outspeed it. So my second Hydro Pump does miss, and they've landed 3 Stone Edges in a row there. So that's interesting. Rock Polish and Stone Edge. I guess they really like their rocks, So I thought, all right, we'll go into the Koi here. So I've got Tatsugiri as Koi, or Koi Fish. You could have used multiple patterns. This is just a straight Nasty Plot sweeping set, probably one of the best sets on my team, actually. So we got Dragon Pulse Surf and Terra Blast Ground. Terra Blast Ground was actually pretty good on this team because, everyone had the Electric-type Pokemon, or Miraidon would be on every second team, or nearly every team, so it was quite handy. Or just any Volt Switch and Thunderbolt Pokemon that I could get around. Not so much for Tatsugiri, but for my other ones, it's quite handy. So they're going to land 4 Stone Edges in a row there. I went for Surf, and it just failed to take it out. Now, I could have gone for a Nasty Plot there, but since they were so accurate with their Stone Edges, I was thinking about, should I go for Terra Ground now and then Nasty Plot and, sweep the rest of the team? What should I do here? But I don't know what their other moves are, and I know it can learn it can learn some other water-type moves and stuff like that. So they finally miss a Stone Edge after all the ones they land. I think that was the 5th one. I just went for Surf and took them out there. I just wanted to get rid of that Pokemon. It's quite bulky. So that is down. Now, we got that Ogerpon from before, and we got 3 other ones left too. So I don't know what the trainer names are either. So if you want to translate those trainer names, let me know in the comment section. That would be absolutely awesome. Or Pokemon names. Say if the Pokemon have nicknames and stuff like that. I don't know if they do or not. I don't think they do because I recognize that Ogerpon, the characters for Ogerpon. So I've got some options here. I've got Dragon Pulse. I don't really want to go Terra Ground because we know they're going to use Ivy Cudgel. So I think Dragon Pulse is going to be my best bet here. Now, this was Timid Nature, and it was max special attack and max speed. And I had Soft Sand as the item too, to boost up that Terra Ground. And also, fish, they sort of swim around the ocean. They can go into sand and stuff like that. I think they try and go into sand to grab things out of there. I don't know why it took so long to make this move for. I think I may have got a phone call during that time. But anyway, that is, the end of the Ogerpon there. Normally, I make my moves very, very quickly. So I got 2 Pokemon left, and now we got Sylveon. It's all right. Well, clearly Surf is my best option here. I figured that we've got a Hyper Voice or something like that, or definitely a Fairy-type move coming my way, right? So we're going to go for that Surf there. It does all right damage, but, Sylveon, I knew would live that one. So it's going to use Moonblast. So that's the end of that. So I thought, wait a second, I've got my Feebas left, right? So with Feebas, I can go for Miracle here and take them out. That'll be really good. And, then I can, maybe get maybe a Surf off on the next Pokemon. So they took the bait there, Hook, Line, and Sinker. And I can go for the Miracle here. So Miraco's going to take it out easily, double that damage. So bye-bye Sylveon. Now we've got one more Pokemon remaining here, and the last Pokemon is a Pecharin. So Pecharin is a bit of an issue here. I was like, man, I guess I can go Hypnosis, but Surf might be better for some damage. So I just went for Surf there, and I got a little bit of damage. It wasn't anything to write home about. And now we've got Malignant Chain, so that's its main move it always uses. So that's the end of Feebas. All I've got left now is my Physical Chi-Yu. So Physical Chi-Yu is going to have to... I really do need a Swagger here, so I'm thinking, what am I going to do? What's my play here? I've got Crunch, so let's go Swagger. I have to believe I can live this attack and then go for Crunch afterwards to feint the right. I'm hoping that I can. So we got that confusion. I'm hoping it hits itself in confusion. That'd be quite, quite appropriate considering what ability it's got to, poison puppeteer. So we got those chickens. I'm hoping those chickens hit it in confusion, and it did. I was like, yes, that was a free turn, so that's excellent. So now I can go for crunch, and I'm hoping this will pack some punch, and it did, and I took them out in one shot with it. That was perfect there, and that is the end of the second battle. I hope you guys are enjoying the fish team so far. And everything just worked out really, really well. Let's get on to battle number 3. This is another random battle. This one's against Soul. I'm not sure how to say that. We got a Whimsicott lead here. So obviously they're just going to do the typical, tailwind stuff there with Whimsicott. Nothing new or exciting there. I'm going to go for Rain Dance this turn. So I figured they'd just set up this turn, and then I was like, I reckon they'll probably attack me here. So they're going to go for Moonblast, which is perfect, and I went for Mirror Coat this turn. So that's a good way to get around that Whimsicott, because I have a couple of Swift Swim Pokemon on my team, and that that Tailwind would probably counter them. So Feebas takes down the Whimsicott, which is excellent. Now we've got a Ditto here, so they're going to absolutely love this Feebas set. So I guess they wanted to see what my Feebas is going to be. Ditto was a very, very powerful Pokemon too, because they could literally just swap it in at any moment. Like, say I had my Chi-Yu set up, right? Or some of my other Pokemon set up with stats or things like that. They could just swap it in and reverse sweep me. So I really had to watch out what I did with this. So I've got the Carp here. I thought, well, if you use Surf in the Rain, that's still going to put Magikarp on 1 health. So they went for Mirror Coat there. I think they just wanted to see what strategy I was gonna use here. There's not really much else you can do. So then they went for Hypnosis. That's gonna put my Magikarp to sleep, which sucks there. So Carpa's gonna be sleeping. So I was hoping that they would attack me this turn with the Feebas, and then I could go for Flail the next turn then, because I actually do outspeed their Feebas. So Carp is sleeping for I think that's the second turn now, and it's going to be having its 1 HP live. So this Carp obviously is, I don't think it's got very good IVs in special defense, which is fine there, or defense. So unfortunately I did not wake up and get the Flail there, which is a bit unlucky, because that would have done a lot. That actually might have even killed Feebas and their Ditto there. So getting some good luck there. Going into the Basculegion now. So I figured they'd swap out here because, maybe, or swap out fearing they get fainted, but they landed another lucky Hypnosis there. So getting very, very lucky at the moment landing Hypnosises. So the Basculegion is fast asleep now. Now they're going to swap their Ditto out after they got all that good luck, and we've got the Meowscarda. So this was a very, very threatening Pokemon on their team. They literally just had to press the A button here. They didn't have to work at all. So I had very little options here. I was like, should I go for Terra Normal? Should I try and just stay in? There's not much I could swap into, right, apart from my Chi-Yu, which, as you know, required quite delicate setup with the Swagger, right? So I stayed in, and I just lived the attack there, and my Salmon is going to be fast asleep. So, due to the Hypnosis luck before, that sort of gave them, a free sort of turn there to swap their Meowscarda, and I virtually couldn't use Basculegion at all. So very, very lucky there. One lucky turn, sort of turned into another. So suddenly half my team's gone, and I've got to deal with a Meowscarda as well. So I was like, all right, well, I've only got one Pokemon to swap into this. The rest are going to get one-shotted. So I figured this is either cause a swap, or they'd stay in and try and get just some damage off on this, right? But I sort of figured they might stay in. So I just went for Flare Blitz there, and Meowscarda is going to live with a Focus Sash. So at least I got rid of the Focus Sash there. So I'm going to take some nasty damage. They're going to just go for Play Rough here, and Play Rough doesn't faint me, which is good. Unfortunately, that's going to drop my attack, which is quite lucky. So that means I'm probably going to need to swap in the future there. So I just went for Terra Blast, and at least that's gone there. So that's gone. There is a Ditto which could swap in here and just reverse faint me too. Now, the Ditto, however, didn't have Choice Scarf because it used different moves, so it had another item. So Golurk can easily swap in here. It's good to see Golurk being used, by the way. And I'm going to swap Chi-Yu out because, no way Crunch is going to kill that with -1. So I went into Barraskewda, which I know can take this out. with Hydro Pump, and I'd say they've got a no guard set there. Unless I doubt they had Iron Fist because it would have done more. So I've got Hydro Pump and Blizzard. I thought, well, Hydro Pump will do really good damage to Golem. It probably should take it out there, and it'll get very, very close. So Hydro Pump is going to do mega damage and take out the Golem with a crit. I did have a scope lens, but I don't even know if that mattered. I mean, usually it's probably a sweeping set there. So next Pokemon we got is going to be Torkoal. Torkoal's going to set the sun up. There's not a lot I can really do here. I thought about going for Terra Blast Ground. I can't swap back into my other Chi-Yu, so I just went for Hydro Pump. So I snapped out a Confusion, which was lucky, but then I missed Hydro Pump, which was unlucky. So I would have rather gone through the Confusion there. So Body Slam is not going to take me out there. I've got one more chance using Hydro Pump, so I was like, I'll just go for that, right? So if I did land my first Hydro Pump, I would have taken Torkoal out there, and then I would have had a chance at using this against their last Pokemon, right? Which I kind of wanted to do, but you know that's the end of my Barraskewda. We're gonna bring in the Goldfish. I was like, all right, it's time for me to get some good luck here. This is all I can really do, so I thought I'd go for Swagger. Get that attack boost there, and hopefully Torkoal will hit itself for Confusion, you know? They did have a Ditto left too, but the thing about that Ditto was it wasn't Choice Scarf, right? So at least I had a 50-50 chance of going first and stuff. That's why I didn't really want to set up my Chi-Yu earlier on. So I've got that Confusion going. I really needed it too, because I figured that Torkoal would live a crunch. And it hit Self for Confusion, so at last I got some good luck there. First bit of luck that went my way, and I went for a crunch and I took out the Torkoal. Not that Torkoal was much of a problem, it was just more annoying because it set the sun up right. The last Pokemon they got on their team, I think that's the second Leafon for today. So Leafon is most definitely going to have Chlorophyll here. So it's like, man, that's a very good counter on my team as well. So another Grass Pokemon. So it's got a good attack stat too, so it lacks in speed, but you know, with the sun up there, it could virtually one-shot my entire team. So they've got Terra Water, not that it mattered because I was never going to outspeed them anyway, and Terra Water, well, me being on such a low amount of health, it didn't really matter anyway. So they're going to take my Chi-Yu out. So all I have left is my Tatsugiri, that's it. They've also got Life Orb as well. So not that it wasn't overkill already, right, on my Chi-Yu. So last Pokemon I've got here, I've got Terra Ground, but I thought, well, there's no point terroring here. They're just going to use a grass move, whether it be Leaf Blade or Solar Blade. So they use Leaf Blade because they had the sun there. But, you know, that's pretty much it, the end of the battle. But some of that early luck there really, really helped them out in the end. I could have, I believe I would have been able to win that if I didn't have such bad luck there. But still, cool game there. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. I did pretty well there, especially with that. I think they had 3 grass Pokemon there, which is a very, very big counter there for sure. Let's get on to battle number 4. We got another random battle here. Hope you're enjoying the battle so far, everyone. Hope they're very swimming. We got a Virizion lead here as our first Pokemon. Don't get to see Virizion hardly at all. Very, very rare you get to even see this. So I'm going to use Splash there. Virizion's going to disappear off the screen for no reason whatsoever. And I'm going to get hit by a Leaf Blade. So Leaf Blade is going to put me on 1 HP here. 1 HP is going to allow me to go for a big flail. I think I got a critical hit there. I think it cut a little bit earlier there, but I did get a critical hit on the flail there, and Magikarp is going to faint, but great damage there. So bringing in the unit Feebas here, I think the little homie's got like, I think they got Brave Nature on their, on their Pokemon, Virizion. So Virizion obviously is going to put my Feebas down to 1 HP there. I could just go, I was like, I could finish it off with Serp. I was like, no, I'm going to set the rain up here because I want my other Pokemon to benefit from that. So that is going to be the end of the Feebas. I guess Feebas and Magikarp both have Swift Swim too, so it's quite beneficial for them to go first. So we're going to bring in Barraskewda. Well, obviously, this is the fastest Swift Swim Pokemon ever, right? I'm going to go for a Disrespect Terra Blast, and that is the end of Virizion. Not that was much of a problem. Next Pokemon is going to be Cobalion. So I just went for a Hydro Pump in the rain there, and I completely dumpstered it in one shot. So that's excellent. I was like, what's next? Is it going to be the Terrakion? But no, they didn't have a Terrakion on their team. They had Terrapagus, instead. I mean, they both start with T, So Barraskewda's going to swap out there. I'm not liking that matchup too much. And we're going to go into Salmon because this has adaptability. I thought, well, adaptability Waterfall would be pretty good here. So I can get some flinches. And I figured they'd go for a normal type move too. So that worked out really well. I went for Waterfall and got some really, really good damage there. I was happy with that. And I got a flinch too. So that's why I'm using Waterfall. I'm going for flinches if that wasn't already obvious. So I almost took it out there. Very, very close, you know, without that rain that actually caused me to miss the KO. They did have Citrus and they've got Earth Power, which, you know, equates to like donkeys of damage there. So I thought, well, I've got a bit of a opening here. Let's use Agility because I don't have any more. I don't have any rain there. Not that this is Swift Swim anyway. I did try and not make this a Swift Swim team because I just did that. So it is interesting because a lot of these Pokemon do get Swift Swim. I think there's only there's 3 Swift Swim Pokemon on my team, and you know, 2 of those are Magikarp and Feebas, so I figured that wasn't that broken anyway. So out comes Zekrom. I actually hit myself a confusion here, and Zekrom is going to be a special set, and Thunderbolt actually doesn't take out my it doesn't take it out, so I was like, cool, I guess I'll get some free damage here. I just went for Headbutt, and I got a ginormous thumping crit there, and they've got Fusion Bolt, so it's like a mix set. Fusion Bolt is going to take out Basculegion's entire family tree there, as well as all my other Pokemon. Maybe except Chi-Yu. So we're going to go into the Tatsugiri here. I'm going to unload a Dragon Pulse, and that's the end of the Zekrom there. So good to get rid of that Pokemon. That was a crazy good counter for my team. And speaking of good counters, we have got the Miraidon. Now, I did contemplate here going for Terra Ground, and I'm really glad that I didn't because it was a physical set. And Outrage actually, I don't know if that mattered. It might have. It depends if they're running a fully physical set, but they've got a Toxic Orb. It's like, what the heck? So it's got Facade. It's like, okay, it's a fully physical Miraidon. I'll give them props for that though. At least that's something interesting, right? So I went for a Blizzard there, getting some quality damage on Miraidon. I figured without a crit they wouldn't faint this, and I was right, they didn't. Obviously, its attack stat is nowhere near as good as its special attack. So we got a little bit of extra damage there from the Poison. It just leaves the Blizzard, and Outrage is going to finish off Barraskewda, but the Poison is also going to finish off Miraidon too. I got to try that out. A physical Miraidon. Well, I mean, I've tried physical Miraidon, but I guess Terra Normal and Facade. Does it even get Facade? I'd have a look there. I actually don't know if it even gets Facade. I don't know what their play was there, but it was interesting. I'd say it was some sort of strategy with Toxic Orb. Last Pokemon is going to be Rayquaza. I got them beads, and I'm about to ruin them. So we're going to go for that Swagger on Rayquaza. Now, this was a dicey play if I ever did one, because this could go pear-shaped real quick, but I was like, I don't have any options. What's Crunch going to do? One-shot them? Definitely not, right? So I got that Mirror Herb. I'm crossing my fins, and Rayquaza hits herself. Look at the damage. It did so much damage to herself. So I'm like, this is great, right? Then we got a Timmy Terra. Something snapped inside of him, and we've got a Terra Dragon Rayquaza. So I'm like, all right. Whatever move this uses, I'm cooked, right? So I went for a Crunch, and Rayquaza just lives, and now it's gonna eat a berry, right? And that's gonna be a citrus berry. So like, wouldn't this be funny, right? If Rayquaza went for another attack and it hit itself a confusion, and it did exactly. It did 2 in a row, bro. That was so unlucky. Like, I 100% would have lost that battle there. But, you know, I'll give my opponent props. They didn't salty rage quit like a lot of other people would there. So, GG's there. Let's get on to battle number 5. This is a battle against Crash, I think it was, and we've got a Whiscash. Oh, we got a fish versus fish team here. Cool. So we got dumb fishes. Oh, that's kind of mean. Poor Whiscash, you know. So I got some quality 2 damage off there with Flail, and now Whiscash is going to go for a future side. So, you know, Magikarp's future isn't looking too bright. Now, we're going to go for that Disrespect Splash there. I really need to go on 1 HP here. So this is a special Whiscash, only on Pit Shadow, and, you know, we got put on 1 HP there. I think that might have needed a crit to put me on 1 health, because I've used special Whiscash before, and it is absolutely awful. So I really wanted to go Terra Normal Flail there, but I was like, nah, Whiscash has got some good defensive bulk there. So Whiscash is going to set us spikes up there. So it's got Hydro Pump, Future Sight, and Spikes. What a set. And that's going to take out my Carp there on 1 health. So we got to get it around this. Now, I've got my Chi-Yu with Terra Grass, but I thought, do I bring that in now or do I bring in the unit Feebas? So I thought maybe I could go for Miracoat here, but then I was like, well, I've lost my sash, so maybe I should just go for Surf or Rain Dance, or maybe even Hypnosis. I was thinking, let's go for the Rain Dance, then I'll go for the Surf. I know that I'm going to be powering up this Whiscash, but I was like, maybe it's got some other moves than that. So I'm going to use Hydro Pump again, and that completely dominated me, right? Because this Feebas is like hindering in special defense, so if those spikes actually countered me, like I could have gone for a Miracoat. I actually would have gone for Miracoat there instead of Rain Dance, right? So I'm thinking I've got my Barraskewda. I guess I can go into that. I'm going to take a Hydro Pump, but I feel like I can live a Hydro Pump. I've got Focus Energy here. So if I go Focus Energy, I could get that going, but it's like, do I want to risk that? I was getting cold feet. I mean, cold fins. But then Whiscash had a Quick Claw. I'm like, oh, nah, that's bad. So they got that Quick Claw Future Sight off. You know, that changes everything. So, you know, we got that Hydro Pump. I just went for damage here. I changed my mind again, and Dumb Fish somehow just lives. I'm like, come on. So I've got Terra Blast. I was like, let's go for Disrespect Terra Blast. Let's take him out. We've got to get rid of this Whiscash, you know? So Whiscash is finally down. I think I'm going to take the Future Sight damage. I took the Future Sight damage on the next turn, so I had to be wary of that. So out comes Bulky Girl, and that is a Mola. I think I might have used the Mola Lola in my very first fish team. Oh, if you want to watch the original fish team too, I will leave that pinned in the comment section. Go back, have a watch after. It'll be cool to see what Pokemon I used there, and you know what battles and shenanigans happen. I was like going back and having a look at those. You know, 10 years later is a great comparison. I really feel like in 10 years, I really feel I've increased the quality of my videos like a lot. Really have, you know, not only the editing and stuff like that, but the narration and stuff like that too. I think I really have come a long way in that time. So we've got a Aquajet set as well. I actually like to run Choice Band along Mola. It's actually pretty fun. You know, of course, it's nowhere near as viable as like the support set, but it could be quite interesting. So I did as much damage as I possibly could there. Did I want to lose my Barraskewda yet? I was like, I know they're going to go for Aquajet. Maybe I should just sack it off and bring in a new Pokemon and try from there. My only Pokemon that could probably take this out right now is Chi-Yu. And I figured I'm going to have to go, unless I start setting up Nasty Plot. But we already seen it had Miracoat, right? So I don't want to do that. So I've got some Spikes damage. And I've got that Beads of Ruin, which is not really going to do anything with a physical set. It's actually quite good. Like I took a lot of people off guard with this physical Chi-Yu, and it worked a lot of the time too. The problem is relying on Swagger. Like the weaknesses were I'd miss the Swagger, or Swagger would, you know, it would hit, but then they get an attack boost, or they just wouldn't hit themselves in confusion, you know. And then I got reverse swept by a Pokemon. So generally, I'd try and use Swagger if I had the choice on quite a passive Pokemon, like a Mola or a special attacker. But in some instances, like the last battle, you know, that Rayquaza, I had to take a risk there, a leap of faith, you know. So we got a Terra Grass here. I have to get rid of a Mola now. It's gonna take a gazillion hits from all my other Pokemon. So we got them flowers. We're hoping a Mola hits itself, but I'm pretty confident I can take it out of one shot. So they've got Aquajet, which, you know, does a little bit of damage there, but it was a crit. I was like, that actually did a little bit more than I thought. So we got that Terra Blast, and this will definitely take out the Mola, which is going to be good. So that is the end of the Bulky Girl, thank goodness. So we got 4 more Pokemon here, 4 more fish Pokemon. So we got Swimmy Fish. We both got a Barraskewda. So I went for Crunch, and Swimmy Fish is not going to stand a ghost of a chance there. Next one's going to be Kissy Fish. Oh, imagine kissing a Bruxish. All right. Tell me in the comment section. There's got to be one person out there who would kiss a Bruxish. Be honest. Put your hand up. Anyway, so Bruxish is not going to be kissing anyone. That's 4 Pokemon down. Now we got Bulky Boy. Oh, it's a family feud here. So Chi-Yu and Chi-Yu. So over Flare Blitz there. Flare Blitz did pretty good damage. I was actually really, really happy with that. This Chi-Yu set is going to have Inferno. So Inferno, that was actually pretty lucky because that's 50% accuracy right there. So Chi-Yu is going to faint there. Well, my Chi-Yu is, and the light screen is now gone too. So going into the Koi Fish, since the light screen is now gone, I'm going to take a bit of Spikes damage. So I went for Surf here on the Chi-Yu, and that's going to take, I don't know, that must have been like some sort of bulky set there. I don't know, because I thought my attack would almost take them out. Last Pokemon is going to be Angry Fist. Oh, it's a Basculin. Now, I have done a Basculin. If you like Basculin, I've done a Basculin team before. Like, you know, all the Basculins are Basculegion. So you can check that on YouTube. I've done that already. I think I did that when Legends Arceus mons could first come to the game. Angry Fish uses a Fire Terror. I was like, what? Why would you use a Fire Terror for? I was really confused, but then, you know, the Plague actually made sense in a second. So I can see they've got the Life Orb there. I just went for Depulse, and I got good damage, but it just lived. Then they had Reverse. I'm like, oh, so they allow me to do some damage and to power up Reversal. But the thing about that was they had Life Orb, so Life Orb actually ended up taking them out there. So that was a bit, if they had any other item than Life Orb, that could have been very, very bad. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the Fish versus Fish battle. Let's get on to battle number 6. I've got 7 battles today, so I hope you're enjoying today's content. This is a battle against Art, and we do have a theme team here as well. So maybe some of you might be able to guess this one because I'm not sure what this is going to be. So we've got an Apom lead there, and Feebas's purple cheeks are going to get thoroughly clapped, you know. Now, there's not a lot I can do here. I've lost my sash. I was like, I'm done, right? He's going to outspeed me. Apom's got some good speed, much more than Feebas. So my Feebas strategy is all washed up, you know. So we're going to go to Barraskewda. We're going to get that focus energy. I'm going to go for some crits here. So it seems to be just a completely physical set on the Apom. So very, 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 you know, minimal damage there. So I went for Hydro Pump. I was like, does this have a sash or not? And it didn't even take it out because it's an Everlight set. I'm like, what the hell? Everlight Apom? Only or PIMPNITE Shatterer. So we got that Everlight, and I was pretty salty about that, actually. Like, I actually can't believe I didn't faint that Hydro Pump. What is that? It has to be like max health, and it's got to be at least max health. And is it special defensive? That's wild. So anyway, down goes the Apom. I've got an Everlight on my Basculin now. Sorry, my Barraskewda. So, Barraskewda. That was a pretty clever name they did for that. Good spin-off. So I went for that Hydro Pump. Good damage there. I still got the crit. I mean, it's a pretty good chance there. I've got Focus Energy, and Swagger misses. There you go. There's a prime example of, you know, Swagger missing there and costing you a turn. So that is going to be the end of the Corviknight there. I got off pretty lucky against that. Next Pokemon here is going to be the Farigiraf. Now, Farigiraf is pretty thick, I do say so myself, so I'm going to need some mega damage here with Hydro Pump. I was like, should I go for Blizzard for a freeze? I was like, no, we'll go for Hydro Pump. So we're gonna unload some big pumps, and that's some pretty good damage there. I'm happy with that. So Future Sight, another pump, and the pump took it out. I was like, man, this thing is doing really, really well. Even without its item there. Our next Pokemon here, I thought it might be a Vivillon, but it's going to be a Miss Magius, and it's shiny too. It's got that shiny yellow or goldy color. Now we got a Terra on this Miss Magius. Like, all right, I wonder what this is going to be. And this turned out to be the same Terra as Iono, you know, the Terra Electric Miss Magius with Levitate. It's like, oh, this is going to have, I'm done, right, because they're going to have electric moves. So I got a big pump, and that did some great damage there. So this Pokemon needs to go, right. So Barraskewda is going to get one-shotted, and realistically, most of my team is going to get one-shotted, but I couldn't help myself, everyone. I couldn't help it. I have to go for the Terra Normal Magikarp. This is pure content, and this is PIMPNITE's channel, right? We don't play any games here. We get these W's. So I'm going to go for the Terra Normal Magikarp. I was like, Miss Magius is on a low amount of health, its defensive capabilities aren't that high, let's unload a big flail. So obviously, Thunderbolt's going to take me down to 1 health there, and I didn't get paralyzed at all, which is excellent. So now I can get that big flail off at 1 health. I do that little somersault, and there we go. It's beautiful. Like, the video deserves a like just for that. So that is the end of the Miss Magus. So things are going swimmingly here, absolutely swimmingly. Next Pokemon is, I don't know if this theme, I'm trying to figure out what this theme, it might be a more obscure, I'm going to guess, it's going to be like an obscure TV show or anime or a game or something like that. I feel like it's more obscure. I could be completely wrong and get roasted in the comments. All right, our next Pokemon here, of course, we've got the Goldfish. Now, Goldfish, this is what I mean. This is dicey, right? Like, I don't want to go for Swagger right against an Annihilate. This is bad. So I went for the Swagger there. I got my +2, but if this has got any rudimentary type of physical move, I'm cooked, right? This thing already has really good attack stats, right? So the Annihilate is confused. I was crossing my fins that it would hit, but then he used Taunt. I was like, oh, okay. I was like, I wonder why it's got Taunt for. So I was like, well, I guess I'll go for Flare Blitz. It's my most powerful attack. Should do a lot of damage against this. So I'm going to unleash the Flare Blitz there, and it lived. I was like, okay, it's quite bulky, and I took some nasty recall, and then they went for an attacking move here. But it wasn't the attacking move I thought it would be because it was counter. I was like, oh, so that took out the Goldfish. So nice. I didn't expect it to live there and have counter. So maybe it didn't have a hindering nature or whatever. So I brought in my salmon and I went for a bite and I gobbled at that Annihilate bait, you know. So that's the 5th Pokemon down. We got the last one, which is going to be Snorlax. So I thought, all right, I gotta finish this battle, true PIMPNITE style. So Snorlax is gonna go for a lick, and of course, of course, the first one I got paralyzed. I'm like, that'd be about right. But since Snorlax is such a slow Pokemon, as long as I didn't get paralyzed, I could go for all the scum in the world. So I was spamming bite and headbutt like you wouldn't believe there. I was trying to get some salt, and I got it. I was like, all right, here we go. Let's get the W. And just before I got the W, I got paralyzed there, and then Snorlax got a freaking rest off. I was like, I should have just gone for Waterfall. But you know, as you guys know, I fall back. I'd rather get see the opponent salty than get the win sometimes. That's what I'm like. It's difficult. Like, it's like that meme, how you've got like 2 buttons, right? You've got the button where win the battle and the other one is troll the opponent. So in the end, I had to go for the waterfalls there. I was going to get clapped by a Metronome Snorlax. And that is the end of the battle. Hope you guys enjoyed that one. Cool team there for sure. We got one more battle here. This one is against Joshua, and I'll let you guys see if you can figure out what this team is. The clue is Pokemon. That's all I'm going to tell you. I don't know how I can. Oh, I do stream this game as well. That's the other clue. All right, so we got a Forretress here. Now, I'll also give another little clue. Some of the Pokemon. Some of the moves they had there, they couldn't quite learn in Scarlet and Violet, right? But, some of the moves were, kind of similar that could be used. That's your other clue. I don't know if I can give too much else away from that. So, pay attention to the moves the Pokemon use and the Pokemon and the nicknames. That's my clues there. Anyway, so we got a Forretress, and it's going to have Giga Drain, Toxic Spikes, and Protect. So, it's like a scummy for a stalling Forretress. I would never ever do anything like that at all. It's funny how this gets Giga Drain. So now we got the Forretress using Protect, and I distinctly remember this happening to me. Getting I was poisoned, and then Forretress using like 2 to 3 Protects in a row. I keep giving you guys clues all the time. So they went for a 3rd Protect there, but that one didn't work. Thank goodness, because I would have been very, very salty. That reminds me of the time that when this was in the Butterfree sweep or the Mega Butterfree sweep. I versed this guy with a Blissey, and the homie got 4 Protects in a row, and had the gall to tell me that that he was unlucky. Anyway, in comes Articuno, and I missed my attack, which sucks. Articuno is going to have Ice Beam. And Ice Beam actually didn't take me out. I thought that it would, because, Barraskewda isn't very bulky. So I was able to get another Hydro Pump off here, and I got a crit, which was really cool. So these movesets that my opponent is using are limited as well. Just if that wasn't obvious already. So Articuno is, it's got some pretty good special bulk here. So I was like, all right, we could go to the Feebas. We could get that Miracle. This could work, but it's going to have to work this turn because I'm going to faint to the Toxic Spikes, right? Now, I've got Surf, which is going to do, virtually nothing to an Articuno, or I could go Hypnosis. I thought about this for a bit, like, well, it's got Ice Beam. Let's hope it uses that, but it uses Icy Wind instead, so think about the moves these Pokemon are using. So I got Icy Wind, I got some damage, and I'm like, this should just be enough to take it out, and it lived on 1 health. I was like, oh, come on, it's so salty. So that's some bullshit there. So I've got Surf. I was like, well, I might be able to outspeed. I am max speed, but I wasn't sure of the EVs they were using. So, obviously they had speed EVs too, and, Feebas is going to faint there. So it was actually a true 1 HP live there. The merch is available. So Brigand and Carp, I couldn't help myself. I was like, let's get that tackle KO. I'm probably going to faint anyway, So I got Tackle ready to go here, and I actually outsped it, and that's the end of the Articuno, which is good. Apparently that had Sheer Cold, and I think it had Quick Claw or Bright Powder or some scummy stuff like that. Stuff that I would never use. So we got that Magikarp there. In comes Azumarill. Now this Azumarill, it doesn't have this move in the game, but it also has Dynamic Punch and Surf. If you know, you know, right? And it's a pain. So Surf just one-shotted Magikarp there. We're going to bring in the Goldfish now. This is actually kind of bad. I don't want to lose to a special Azumarill. I'm going to have to quit Pokemon forever. So we got that we got that Goldfish. I thought, well, if I go Swagger, or I could go Terra Grass. I got to admit, I was a bit worried here that it would have Sap Sipper instead of huge power or thick fat. But I really had to go for it. So I thought I'd go Terra Grass. I'll be able to resist the water type move there. But I'll go Swagger first. But Swagger missed. I was like, oh, that sucks, right? So here comes Super Power. It's a mix set, and that almost one-shot him. I was like, holy crap. This is really, really, really bad. So the next turn, I'm going to faint. So I thought, well, there's no time to use Swagger. I'll just go for Terra Blast Gruff. And thank goodness it wasn't Sap Sipper. That would have been very, very bad. So I managed to take out the Azumarill in one shot there. Maybe I should have done that from the start, but I wasn't to know that it was going to be like, a mix set. I think Super Power was there to represent Dynamic Punch as a fighting move there. That was very, very annoying. So that's the end of my 4th Pokemon. I've got 2 left, but we still got 3 more. So all right, I'll send in my Salmon. I like smoked salmon, super, super nice, right? A great additive to any meal. And now we got Politoed. So this was a pain, and this is a pain too. So it's got Drizzle there. Now I've got adaptability, but I know that it's probably still going to do nothing. So I'm going to go for Headbutt there and try and get some flinches. So I thought, if I can get as many scummy flinches as possible here, I might be able to completely nullify the Politoed from attacking at all. So I'm spamming Headbutt here, and I got one, but then the next one didn't flinch there. So this has got Psychic, which is actually a move it does get in the game too. That did pretty good damage, actually. I got Headbutt, and I've also got Bite. I was like, let's go for Bite. This should be a 2-hit KO regardless. And I didn't get a flinch again there. So another Psychic. I actually think I just lived this one, and then I got a special defense drop, which would have mattered on the first one, because I would have fainted there if that actually happened. So I was like, all right, we'll go for Headbutt, finish off the Toad, and also my Basculegion is going to faint too. So it was useful that I got those flinches there. So I believe I wouldn't have got around Politoed, any other way there. So I had one more Pokemon, which was my Tatsugiri. That was my last Pokemon. That's right. I was sort of hoping I could get a nasty plot up too. Next Pokemon we got here is going to be Dodrio. Now this was mean, right? This is very, very mean. Now I've got Dragon Pulse and I've got Surf. I thought, well, Surf is going to do a good amount of damage here, or I could set Nasty Plot. I wasn't sure whether I was going to go first, so I went for Surf. I was like, this is going to do tons of damage there. So it's a special set with Tri-Attack. So I went for Surf and it dropped it a one-shot. That wasn't too surprising because, Dodrio is not very bulky. Now our last Pokemon is going to be Jolteon. And Jolteon has caused me many, many troubles in this game. Like, this is like not the only time. It's caused like multiple problems here. So we got a Terry. I was like, this is probably, I'd say this would probably be Terra Electric, right? That's what I was thinking. It would suit for that. Now, I had Terra Grass used up already, so I would have loved to go Terra Ground, but I couldn't. So we've got Thunderbolt here. I was like, nah, I'm not living that. So that is going to be the end of the Koi, and that's also the end of the battle. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, and drop a like, leave me your favorite fish Pokemon if you did, and I'll catch you next time.